All right, everybody, you know what this is. This is B Fam Cooking, and we're back again for another podcast episode, which is from the Beyond the Restaurant Doors segment. I brought you somebody new again today. I know it seems like I'm only talking about booze of lately. We're gonna cross that line back into food. We have to because we're a food channel. That's basically it. Even though booze to me is food, you just can't only eat that. So today I brought you somebody special. He is a Marine Corps vet, so get ready for that. That power of the Marine Corps, the few, the proud. Give me some food. The people that I want you to know is Eric Dominijanni, Major. I got it. Yes, I knew I was going to mess that up, but I didn't. So there you go. So Eric, how you doing today?
I am doing absolutely phenomenal. It's another beautiful day over here in Miami. Everyone is freezing their butts off up north. It was so cold. It was so cold I couldn't go in my pool to cool off.
You go in your pool to Man, this man knows how to kick somebody right where it hurts, doesn't he? He's too much.
Exactly.
So, sir, you are a Marine Corps officer. You know what they say. Once you're an officer, you're always an officer. All you can do is uncommission yourself and just call yourself retired. Why are you doing so much? You got things coming from all different places. Your Marine Corps. You made some alcoholic beverages, which people are just enjoying. It's very smooth. What's going on? How did you get into the booze business from the Marine Corps?
Well, first of all, you have to understand, I'm like hyper. I've always been hyper, that kind of guy. I like sleep very, very little. And there was something from Conan the Barbarian when I was a kid, the movie. It's like, time enough to save. It's just like if you're not doing something, you need to be planning on doing something. I do something, and then after I'm done with it, all right, what's my next thing? So it was I got out of the Marine Corps, got into school, went to another school, got bored again, started going to this, and then I got into Scotch. Go figure, right? So,
No, that's what I'm saying. What do you mean, go figure? So wait, we done jumped like over your entire life. You are a New York-based man. You started your life in New York. Tell me a little bit about your where you came from.
I was actually born in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Raised. Yes, born there.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yeah, but right after I was born, I moved to Queens. My family moved to Queens, Forest Hills, Queens, which is the most ethnically diverse in the world, and it's also the home of Peter Parker. A lot of people don't know that. If you're a Spider-Man.
Of
very
course.
proud. He's from like about a block or two up the road, something along those lines. But yeah, so I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, spent my whole life in Queens. And then I wound up going to school in Manhattan. I went to NYU, then I went to Mercy, and then I did the whole gambit, lived all over. I'm a city boy, urban trash, 100%. And I like to think that I am like one of when I think of Forest Hills, Queens, once again, it's like the most ethnically diverse counties in the world. You got me. It's like, like, what are you? And I'm like, well, dude, I'm like Italian, but I'm black, but I have an Italian last name, but I'm part Chinese. You're like, what? What aren't you?
Yeah. So you're literally a man of the world, is what which is great. That's one thing I love when I used to say when I was in service was that I came from a microcosm of what we consider the universe. We got pretty much everybody. We had Russians, we had Asians, we had we had people from Africa, and of course we had people who were all local. That little bit of colonialism worked out real well for us. So for you grew up in a larger microcosm. You had more people. I'm from Long Island too, so that's the most important thing. But
Long Island is part of Queens, as I recall.
No, that's not how it works. It's the entity. That's not how it works. Queens is on Long Island. There's Kings County, Queens, and then Suffolk County. You can't. You keep trying to shortchange me. Marine Corps always kicking me. Kick. I love when people from Brooklyn say they're not from Long Island. I like laughing at them. I'm like, did you go to school? Did you cross a bridge to get there? I don't think so.
Go, exactly.
Yeah, but so you were saying?
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, went to school in Manhattan. Basically a kid of the bars. if you will. Did my time there. I was a biology major, pre-med, graduated. So let me back up. Devoted my life to martial arts for God knows how long. Did the whole.
Which type of martial arts? Which type of martial arts are we talking?
I started with judo when I was really young, and then on and off, and then I got into boxing, Muay Thai, Wing Chun. I trained with Grandmaster Sinclair. I think he's passed away a few years ago from Brooklyn. I trained with him in ninjutsu. That's when most kids were. Yeah, and that's not a joke. It wasn't like karate with backflips. It was like it was just unbelievable. The martial art masters and grandmasters at the time that I surrounded myself with were just at another level.
So was that a leftover? Was that a leftover of? So I'm guessing we're about the same age. I'm not asking your age. And don't need to know. The reason why I say that is because I was really involved with martial arts too. I started with judo also until I broke my sister's leg. My older sister, the next one in line from me, right? When we got in trouble, we went to PAL, and everybody we were watching too much karate movies on Saturday on Channel 5.
Yeah.
So she threw a kick at me, and I caught that stuff in the air, and she ended up in the hospital. And then my father tried to put me in the hospital to visit her a little, little bit extra. But I went into karate. Then when I was in service, I went into Tang Soo Do and a few other martial arts. So you just ran the gamut before you even went into service. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I had this thing where when I was a kid, most of my peers were like reading comic books. I was reading.
Me too. That was me.
People would we had to write a paper in elementary school, like who aspires you, who inspires you, who do you aspire to be like, who inspires you? And they were writing about like famous baseball players and stuff. And I was like, Alexander the Great. How would you compare this baseball player? If you think this guy's so great, why are you hanging out? You should be practicing, like throwing a ball or catching a ball all day long. The people that I aspired to be like, we're legendary
conquerors of the world.
Yeah, I was like, how do you compare Babe Ruth to Alexander the Great? Come on,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. I mean,
I wanted to be a knight as a kid. So what do knights do? You live by a certain code of honor. You have to maintain some degree of athleticism. I was a Boy Scout. The discipline I got from that, the discipline from martial arts. To school, obviously I got my master's. I mean, at the time I had my bachelor's degree, and then after that, I really couldn't afford to go to school. I was just broke. I mean, you talking broke, eating the pizza out of the garbage. Like, I remember they had the pizza box, and it was all filled too good to eat the pizza crust. And when they left, I just literally ate. That's how broke I was. Like, the smell of ramen to this day still gets me sick.
I'm sorry.
No, I cannot not smell. We're not talking about real ramen. We're talking about the packaged ramen.
Yeah.
I ate so my stomach is turning right now.
Oh,
and I used to love it. I just can't even stomach it right now. So so I couldn't afford to go to school, so I looked into the military, and they were like, they basically said, you're about to graduate. They were talking about officer programs. I didn't know what an officer was at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I wound up transferring from NYU to Mercy College. I wound up getting a full scholarship if I ran track for them. I was also on the track team. Sorry. I ran for them, I'd get a full scholarship. If I didn't run, I'd just get a normal. I actually got paid to go to school. Ran for them. So Mercy took care of me. I'm very appreciative to the whole staff. I couldn't believe the way they treated me. Like, they actually pulled me inside. I was a little Dominican woman, and she was like, let's see what we can do for you. And I'm like, what? So instead of trying to get rid of me, they tried to get me there. And then I finished. And then I was like, as I was in school finishing up, I was like, I was looking into the military, and I was like, maybe I should go. I really kind of got that bug now. And I was like, started reading all the manuals and the stuff about, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps. And then I'll never forget walking in to the recruiter, and I was just like, this is what we could do for you. This is what we could do for you. Don't worry, you'll never go to never get dirty. I'm like, you're not selling me. You're not selling me. And I'll never forget walking out of it was the Navy recruiter. And I walk out, and then this Marine, like a door, like the minute he just like kind of like swung out. He's like, do you have what it takes to be your Marine? And I was like, son, do you know who I am? I run marathon. I'm a master of like 27 types of kung fu. I know the dim mak, death touch. I can you sign me up right now. He just got me hook, line, and sinker. You
Tell
know,
you.
how do you get an alpha male? Alpha the alpha male. You're weak. You don't have what it takes to be a Marine. I'll prove it to you.
So that's why you went in. So I didn't go in the Marine Corps. I didn't choose that path. I think it was something about an old girlfriend going in there before I went in. But for you chose the Marine Corps because you needed to do more, is what you're saying. Physically more.
I chose the most difficult martial art. I chose the most grueling of teams. That's in my track and field. I'm sorry, is grueling. You know, it's just punishment every day. And I chose that. It's rights. And I chose to be the Marines. I mean, in the Marine Corps because, you know, there is no greater feeling. You know, you see it if you watch The Simpsons, you know, or what do you call it, Family Guy, when Lois is like, now the Marines, that's where it's at. You know?
Oh, so I thought she just liked the uniform. I thought that's what it is.
Completely. I mean, it was that, and it's what they stood for. It's, you know, you're the block, and you know, no offense to the Air Force or the Army. You know, when you're a bunch of like service members in a bar, and it's like, what are you? You know, I'm a Zoomy, I'm a squid, I'm a this, and then the Marine pops out. They all make way for him. You know, and there's a lot of truth to that. We'd walk down the hallways at joint schools. The Marines would just lock folk, and then you see the Air Force, the Navy. They literally just part the sea.
Yeah,
and I was like, I want that. I freaking want that.
So explain to me. So I've talked to a lot of people. You know, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people. I got a bunch of Marine Corps friends. What is with this crayon eating thing?
Exactly. So you know, Marines had all the nicknames. We were jarheads.
Yes.
Because of our short haircut and because it looked like a screw top.
Yes.
Gyrenes.
Yes.
Dog faces.
Devil dogs. Yes.
No, that was the Army was dog faces. We're devil dogs. Typhoon.
That's what I said. Devil dogs.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that got me was like I was about to start seeing all this crayon. We were all at the office. Who the hell's a crayon? We have no clue where that came from. I retired in 2017, and it was probably like 2016 or something, and just started seeing all these crayon eater jokes, and we're like, did you get like why are we crayon eating?
I don't know. I don't understand. So I don't know if you ever saw a movie called Fish Called Wanda. There's the main running thing in there is don't call me stupid, right? Yeah. As an Air Force person, that's the one thing you definitely can't call me is stupid. Right? Yeah. Right? You can call me, what is it? What do you guys call us? Chair Force and
Zoomies.
Yeah, Zoomies. You know what? I take no offense to any of that because a chair is very important to me. Don't get me wrong. So you can give us that nickname, but you can never call us crayon eaters.
You know, I was in Southern Command in the elevator one day with 3 young airmen, you know, like they were in there, and they were just talking like, okay, now taking the flux capacitor guidance system and multiplying it by the particular index force.
Yes.
And I said, whoa, stop. I'm a smart guy. At one point, I was the smartest. I had the highest GG score in the whole unit.
Yeah.
And I go, this is the first time I've been the dumbest guy in the elevator.
That's that's our thing, guy. I don't know what to tell you. You know. That's definitely our thing. You know, I'm a software developer by trade, and I got there by cracking open a bunch of books and being a nerd prior to coming in. You know, I'm one of those guys who literally touched one of the first Macs at a users group when I was 11. Okay. You know, the one not the one that you buy, the one that you buy the kit for and you built into a wooden box. That's me. Yeah. So I mean, the only reason I went in the Air Force, I mean, besides there was a girlfriend whose father was actually it was 2 girls, sisters. Don't get me started on that. I'm gonna get in trouble. I start going in there. But their father was a Air Force person. He got me involved with computers, and we used to build computers at the house, and all that other stuff. So that was the Tandy 99.4A days with peripheral boxes and
right.
But he was in the day of when he was a technician out of the Air Force where computers still had their hard drives were gold plates stacked, right? Wow. So he literally would go from mainframe to mainframe and change out these stacks of literal gold plate that used to write. And that was the day when you had to use 2 fingers to save a program on a tape deck. So that's the world I come from, and I don't mind being called a nerd. I use it. I'm a geek. I'm, always all those good things you could say about someone who's highly educated, highly motivated, and can engineer things. I'm just concerned that a smart man like yourself, who went to school after school after school and obtained a higher degree of understanding, I'll say, not even education, just understanding, into fitness of yourself, and you do things like, I don't know, to come up with a bottle of booze that ain't no joke. You wanted to be a Marine. You wanted to be a Marine, and you said, I'm doing this for myself. No, you didn't even say that. I heard on several interviews that you did this for your buddies. You made this not only for yourself, but for your buddies. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So the way I started this, it was, I worked for quite a bit of time, and all Central America. And I'm not going to say the expert of rum, but when you're working in the Caribbean, and every country has their own rum, and they only drink it, like on this island, man, we only drink this kind of rum, and that island, they drink that kind of rum. Don't ever confuse our rum for their rum. Their rum is trash, So I knew rum. I could taste it, tell you everything. This is Zacapa 23. This is from Barbados. I used to know everything. The history, loved it. And then I left, and I was in California, in the middle of the desert. And I'm like, 29 Palms. There's nothing there. There's coyotes, roadrunners, no joke, coyotes, roadrunners, scorpions, and tarantulas. And that's all they got out there.
So tell me, when was this exactly? We're talking pre-Gulf War, post-Gulf War?
This is 2000. This is about 2014.
2014. Okay.
This is 2012.
2012. Okay, so we're
and
all
I'm
right.
In California.
And you're in California.
Right. And then I went out, and every time you have to understand, you've been I'm not sure how it is by Air Force Base, but by Marine Corps bases, it's like if you get your hair cut on a Marine base, it's crooked. So all they have to do is make it less crooked off base. Like when you're on a Marine Corps, tell you what you're going to eat. So when you go out of town, they just have to give you something better. Like I asked for a cheeseburger, they gave me a hot dog. You're like, and it's like, I don't have time. So, you're in between deployments. I'm about to go to Afghanistan, and I'm like, I just for once, can I just get what I asked for? Like, you're starting to lose it. Like, you're getting furious. Can I have like this with no ice? And they give you ice, and you're like, they don't even apologize. So I had my best friend from college, my best friend from the Marine Corps, I had all these who all lived next to each other in LA, in the Redondo Beach area. So I used to go out there and visit them on the weekend just to get away from the 120-degree heat and stuff. And we were at a bar, I think it was Bordner's. Don't quote me on that one.
Okay.
And some guy, it was very funny. He offered, he's like, hey, you guys in the military? And, he's like, no, they all point to me, I'm like, and they were like, it's like, let me buy you a drink. Thank you for your service. And he gave me, I think it was Malort. It was the most horrible thing I've ever drank in my life. I do not know what it was to this day. The dude was hitting on me at first, because I was in good shape, like, thank you. I don't go that way, buddy. yeah, exactly. So, that's how I realized he wasn't gay. It's like, I was like, you just, probably playing a joke on me. And I was in such a bad mood. I can't tell you how
he gave you bad moods.
Pissed off. Yeah, it wasn't just that. It's like, can I get anything? Just one thing. Just, I'm about to go to Afghanistan. Can you leave me alone? So we hit bar, and I'm usually the designated driver. So my buddies, and we're like, hanging out with these people, and they're leaving these people. So the group is mixing up throughout the night. And they're like, dude, you're in a bad mood. Look, we're driving today, okay? And we get to this bar, and I'm just there in California. This is, I think, Redondo Beach, Huntington Beach area, I think it is. And I'm just there like this. I'm like, what do you want? I was like, what do you have for rum? And they had like only the most basic of rums. And I'm like, is that all you have? And he's like, this is a Scotch bar. And he points up, and there's this ring of scotches, all around. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's a Scotch bar. And I'm like, wow. And I was literally like, yo, teach me. He's like, what? I go, teach me. And he looks at me like, look, I'm an aspiring blah. I went up against Bobby Flay many moons ago. This is my life. I know everything about rum, but I know nothing about scotches. So the guy's like, you really want to learn? I'm like, yeah. So the dude was like half Irish, half Scottish. And he starts pulling out, I always call frog to this day, said Lefroy. And I was just like, this is the frog and this, and you should drink this with water. This is best need. And here, try it with this, with a little bit of, and he gave me this like omakase on scotches and whiskeys. I was like, wow.
So wait. You got to educate people. You can't be throwing words out there like that. Omakase, which I know in reference to sushi, right?
Yes.
Custom right? But give me your definition of omakase for Scotch.
Well, no, he gave me like the tutorial. It's like the chef special or the bartender's like special. He's not
Sweet.
only just
So he can
showing
sweet-
me,
Yeah.
like he's looking at me. Okay, this guy is a complete novice. So let me have him. Let me introduce him to a Scotch from all the different regions of Scotland. His favorite, not mine. I mean,
Yeah,
the bartender's
you
favorite
were
from
being
each of these
educated.
regions. Yeah, and he started showing, okay, this is peat, this is smoke, this is not smoke, this is peat, and this is not peat, this is smoke. You know, this is sweet, this is a Highland, this is a Speyside, and he starts going through, and I was like, and I was brain dumping most of it. Highland, Speyside,
Yeah.
you know, but
What
I was like,
tastes
wow,
like?
this tastes like, yeah, this tastes like burnt seaweed, and this tastes like smoke, and this tastes sweet, and this is, I don't know what these flavors are, and he's so happy, and you know, he was giving me little micro sips. And when I gave him my credit card, I said, just don't rip me off. And there was no, I just, you know, gave him, you know, I can't even remember. It was like nothing, you know, like $100.
So tell me about yours, man.
So
hit the name. Because I'm a messenger.
Fior.
I know.
So Fior Scotch.
Fior. Okay, Fior
Yes.
Scotch. I see you got a label on here. You know, veteran owned, which is
And my
important.
signature is on the bottom.
And the signatures on the. I don't.
Mine is. It's just, when I created the bottle, I didn't realize the black ink wouldn't show up against the blue
I
very
was
well.
like, where's the signature?
The bottle would be in gold or white.
Anyway, I'm gonna crack open some here. This is the first time I'm opening this. Normally sits over there. I'm not a huge drinker, but I do have a bunch of alcohol here for when people come over. And I'm gonna try
I was
this
married
out here.
once too.
So married once too. No, I just don't drink that much. I have stuff in the house. I need an occasion. I can't be.
And I have a great toast for you, by the
Okay.
way, when you're ready.
So I'm looking here. I got me a little sip here. So tell me what the toast is, my friend.
Okay, this is when I drink. Remember, Scotch is an event.
Okay.
Scotch, you don't drink Scotch to get drunk. You drink Scotch because you had a baby or your father died. You got fired or you got hired. You know, it's like the ultimate. It's the most extreme of all events. So for me with Scotch, because it's an event, I only want myself with good people. But how do you do that? How do you judge a person? You look at them in the eyes and you say, may you get what you deserve. And if they're like, what is that supposed to mean? You know you're dealing with a D-bag, okay? A person of bad quality. If the person's like, hey, brother, God bless you, or just, hey, you know, may you get what you deserve. Then you know you're dealing with a good person. So, my friend, may you get what you deserve.
As you as well, sir.
Salute. There we go.
Okay, I'm getting smoke. Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting a little vanilla there.
Wait a minute, it'll taste the chocolate at the end. Well, depending on what part of the tongue is, that little bit of bitterness is like dark chocolate. You'll taste on the sides of your tongue.
Okay.
The
okay.
smoke, vanilla. We had a
Smoke,
person.
vanilla.
They described my Scotch as sitting by the aroma of marshmallows being cooked at the campfire, but not being burnt. Or
yeah, I get that. That I definitely get.
that's one. Or the other one is it's like being at a campfire, but not sucking on a charcoal brick.
So man, when you've ran through this flight with this bartender, he did what he did to show you about Scotch.
Right.
And then you said, okay, I've had it all. I like X, I like Y, and I like Z, but I want to mix them up. And then you decided you wanted to make your own.
Yeah, what happened was, so I was still in California, and my rum collection started disappearing, and it started getting replaced with the Scotch collection. Because I was like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, you know, and it just starts to grow. And then I moved to Florida, I moved back to Miami, got stationed there, and then it just, at that point, I had years of Scotch, if you will, with the bug. Mm-hmm. And then I started reading up a thing called an infinity bottle or a legacy bottle, slightly similar things, where you create your own blend. Because years ago, there were no blends. Yeah, there were no blends of Scotch. You had to blend it yourself. You see people, oh, why did they cut it with water to open it? No, people cut it with water because the original Scotch was very, very strong. You know, we're talking about, because, you know, normally, you know, the minimum standard for Scotch is 40%. But sometimes we were getting like 60% or some crazy thing like that. So they cut it with water to lower it. Other people say it was done to like spread it like a nice oil. They're both true. Both stories are true. And I wanted to create my own infinity bottle. You know, you have to understand, I make my own ice cream. I make my own sausage. I make my own salami. I make my own beer. I make my own meat. Blah 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 blah.
We're gonna come back to what you make because you jumped ahead and we gotta go back.
Yeah, no, we'll go back. So it was just an inevitability. I was gonna try to make my own blend. And I failed miserably on the two of them. I was working with space sides and because I was going, let's go for the intense flavors. Let's go for the space. Not space side, sorry. The islas and the islands, very, very peaty. And you're looking like burnt swamp grass with burnt seagrass, like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And no one liked them. Even I was like, okay, I like if I'm having a barbecue, do I really need to have the smoky flavor from the barbecue, the smoke from a cigar, and now the smoke from a scotch? Okay, so I said, let me do something that'll be like that middle ground, like the bridge. I don't need another layer of smoke. I need a little bit that kind of like brings you from one to the other. So that's what I did. I said, let me go for two of the more milder regions, excluding lowlands, because lowlands are a little bit too mild for what I wanted. Right, so I went for Highland and a space side because I was like, wow, this is sweet. This is smoky. It's not too intense. And then I started with it, and I'm like, wow. And what you do with it is you have like I would have like a bottle of whatever, and I'm like, wow, that's a little bit too smoky for me. And when you have about that much, I poured it in the bottle. I'm like, I really wish I need something to tone it down. And then you have something that's a little bit too light, and I'll add the rest of that to my bottle. And then afterwards, I wish it was a little bit sweeter, or at least it was a little bit smokier. So when I would get something that I thought was too intense, I would put that in my bottle. So I didn't choose the best scotches for my infinity bottle. I start off with something that was bland, for example, and wishing that it had some smoke. And then I would find another one that was too smoky and I would put in there, or something that was too sweet and I'd put in there. And that's how I came. And when I got to the point where I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for, boys over, all Marines, one sailor. And they were like, man, this is great. We're smoking cigars. We had a barbecue. And then the bottle starts to get lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, man, like, how do I duplicate? Yeah. And my uncle, you have a boss in the Marine Corps. He gets his own cigars made. He's like, he calls up and he says, I want like this gauge, this fill, this shape, and he gets them made. My uncle here in Miami, my uncle Luciano, I'm half Italian. My uncle Luciano, he gets his own wine made. He calls up, I want a 23% this and a 42%. And they make them buy it and they mail it back to him. And there's got to be a way to do this with Scotch. But I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. But I have my buddy from college. He's, who I see every quarter. He comes down. Jim Landis. That guy. Yes. And he's a good buddy of mine. And I was like, Jim, are you still in the liquor business? And he's like, you still cook? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, if I wanted to like create like, this, I want this duplicated. And he's like, well, I'm heading off to Scotland in a month, or I think it was a couple of months. And he's like, stop it, cork it, and I'll bring it there and see if I can reverse engineer, like you were saying earlier. Let's see if we can reverse engineer that. And I was like, cool. And I just thought 3 samples. I'm giving you the quick story. 3 samples. The first one was okay, like in the military. The first one was okay. The third one was pretty good. It was not as good as the first, but the second one was money. And he goes, that was the closest we could come to making. The second one was the closest. I'm like, perfect. Make me 6 cases. I want 6 cases. Yeah. And I'll probably order twice a year. Just save the recipe, whatever it is. And then same guys that had come over, they were like loving, like, bro, you need to give me a bottle, bro, because everyone's from Miami, bro. And it was from New York, it'd be son, or Jersey, would be cuz, dude.
I call everybody dude.
Yeah, he's like. So he's like, bro, you need to sell me a bottle. I'm like, I didn't charge you for dinner. How could I charge you for? And he's like, well, can I get a bottle? This is all I have. And
we got 6 cases.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not giving it away. If you want, come over for dinner. And one of the guys was over last night, actually. So 2 of the guys there, Pete Moreno and Lazaro Solomon, these guys called me up for 48 hours. Bro, you need to sell that. You need to get that out there. You need. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And then it was Laz. I was like, you're serious? You really think it's that good? I'm like, yeah, bro, you need to get that out there. And I'm like, so I called up my buddy Jim. And I was like, hey, yeah, I was like, if I wanted, do you think people would buy this? He's like, oh yeah, I'm sipping on it right now. I'm like, oh, glad to know I bought you a bottle. Didn't know that.
All right. So Dom, so I was gonna call you Dom, but I'm gonna call you Disco Six because I know now that you are Disco Six. That's you handled everything.
King of the dance floor,
right? Yeah. So So you came up with a concept. You ordered it through a friend, as Marine Corps or better yet, any military people do, and you're sitting down with friends. What did you have for dinner? What did you make that you figured would go well with your scotch?
I did picanha.
Because okay.
Barbecue. Sorry, barbecue. Yeah, I did.
No, I know what picanha is. Don't get me wrong.
Which well, it's very common down here, but up north, like my friends back in New York, they're like, "What?" Every time they come here, you got to make that picanha. I'm like, that's like pizza in New York. It's everywhere. In Miami.
Well, actually, one of my favorite YouTubers that's out there used to do. I used to follow a guy on sous vide. So there's one guy in particular, and couldn't remember his name to save my life right now. But picanha was one of the things he used to talk about a lot of, and it's basically a square section. It's a triangle section of meat that has like a large fat cap. But I forget what type of meat it is, though.
It's what happened is. Because the meat doesn't exist in American butchery because of the angle that it's cut at. It's the I believe it's the hump. It's like the eye, the round, and the bottom.
Right.
I think it's eye round, bottom round, and top. Eye, top, and bottom round. It's just cut at a different angle. Mm-hmm. That's my understanding of it.
Right. But I forgot whether it was beef or pork, and that's the thing.
Oh, it's beef. It's beef.
Yeah, it's beef.
Sorry, it's beef.
But it has a large fat cap on it. Is my understanding. Yeah. And
it's a rather tough. It's a rather tougher cut of meat. So which to me, the tougher, my kids, when they go, Dad's making tough meat, they know it's going to be good because tough meat usually has more flavor. So what happens, you have to take into consideration more so than other cuts, the actual striations of meat. So you have to cut perpendicular to it. Otherwise you're going to be chewing, kind of like churrasco or skirt steak. You know, I find it one of the most tender cuts, but that's because I'm cutting it against the grain, against the striations. So that's very, very important with cooking. Steak is not as simple as throwing a dead piece of meat, a dead animal on a barbecue. There's a lot more to it. So
but to me, making the product, the protein, to perfect temperatures, scientifically done, requires basically two-step cooking process. To me, it's got
searing and then the cooking, or the
doneness of it, and then the searing.
Yeah, depends how you do it. Because some people do an initial sear, other people do a post sear.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a sous vide. I teach classes on sous vide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then yeah.
So scientific cooking, and if you want that perfect medium rare, you're going to cook it longer, and it's going to be to a particular temperature, and then you're going to sear it to make sure that it produces the crust that you want, the texture that you want on the outside. So
yeah, and I've done the reverse of that. I'm not a sous vide guy. Nothing against it. I just don't have it in the past. But things that I've done. Like, for example, I'll sear it, especially if it's on the grill or even on a cast iron skillet. I'll sear it and then throw in, like when I'm making a prime rib. They're like, what? And it's, well, yeah. Well, you can take a prime rib, sous vide it, and then throw it on a skillet, hot cast iron skillet, and get a great, crispy, beautiful stuff. Or you can do that first and then throw it in the oven.
Yes.
I think the sous vide is the safer way to go. Because all you're doing is getting some color on it now.
All you're doing is getting some color on it. Right. It's going to be perfectly cooked, and the doneness line is what I love about it. It's like really, really, really important. But this scotch, my friend, is first off, it put me right in the right spot. Let me tell you that one. This is a great celebratory drink. It's perfect, and I'm thinking, obviously it's got that smoke. So anything that has any smoke to it, I could definitely see you even having it with some of your the country of origin. You said you're part Italian. You definitely could have some definite nice Italian dishes with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I did the other dish that I had, because remember this was a few days, was my carbonara.
Right.
Make it all the time. It's a great thing. But remember when we had this discussion, when I've been using guanciale when pancetta was the standard for carbonara.
Right. Wait. We got to slow you back there, man. We talked about this offline, so
offline. Yeah.
Let's online bring up carbonara and what you think carbonara is versus what carbonara is, or however you want to do it. Hit me with. So wait. Maybe we should back up. Give me a little bit on.
And we'll put that later on. We'll go to that.
We'll put a little bit on. Let's hit on how you became a cook to bring us over to why I should listen to you about carbonara.
All right. So as a kid, I was a latchkey kid.
Yes.
So I was all by myself in the house.
Right.
My mom would be at work, and a lot of my friends, I don't sleep. I'd wake up early, like it might be the summer vacation or it would be, the winter vacation. So I'd wake up, all my friends are still sleeping. And then I would be just like, okay, these guys are going to sleep all day long. And I'd flip, notice what I'm doing. I'd flip through the channels and PBS, Channel 13, there was like the cooking. They would have all the cooking. My favorite at the time was the Frugal Gourmet. I loved him. And I used to watch them religiously, like absolutely religiously. And and after a while, I started watching them because I was, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. Okay, so there was, I could only dream about eating duck and this, and in my mind, I know this is crazy, but I wasn't like coming up. I wasn't learning. I was like validating recipes that were. I've never tasted duck before, but I knew what it tasted like, and I was like, man. If I made that, I would make that with a cherry glaze or and they're like, and we're going to use a cherry vinaigrette. I was like, that's exactly what I would have done, So I was like, yes. And then comes out this guy, Bobby Flay, all right? And he was like grilling and chilling. And I'm like, man, this guy, all he could do is grill. Every man can grill, even though I never barbecued a day in my life. But I was like, he was fighting with the other guy that was on the show, and he'd be like grilling watermelon and grilling this. And like, it's not that I look down on him. It's like every man can barbecue by law. Like if you're not like, how can you not? Unless you're from New York City.
All I can say is that sometimes men cannot. I grew up, I grew up in a really strange situation, but I do agree with you that it's important to be able to control the grill, control the flame. I think that fire, how they fire is a manly thing to be doing, and I loved controlling the fire. Even when I was
a kid, it's all me.
It's I think it has something to do with we had family reunions and we used to go to Heckscher and the whole family would come over. My father would be at the pit, and better yet, all the guys, all the primary the alphas would be around that pit making sure stuff. Yeah. What you doing over there? Well, in his case, his name was Pootie, right? That's his nickname, right? Pootie, what you got cooking on this one? He was the one that cooked deep fried the fish. He's the one that did the barbecue, and I didn't think of him really as a cook because I was raised by my great aunt, who really was. She used to help board these battle shock veterans in her home. She had like 4 of them, that were there, and she took care of them. Did some work with the Red Cross and all this other stuff. But these 4 uncles to me,
right?
All of them not quite exactly there, which makes me laugh all the time because that's what they used to do is laugh and cackle. But she would bring home the recipe, that made things that was right. Sunday cooking, big spreads, multiple products. But cooking is the man thing to do was the man that barbecue. Yeah. So you're cooking. You got you got inspired by some of the greats, and then you said you wanted to challenge Bobby Flay. I assume that's later.
No, I didn't want to challenge him. I just my dream as a child was to have my own cooking show. Like everyone was like, I want to do this. My number one dream, like, man, I want to have, and I just never thought about it. And then years later, I'm in the Marine Corps, and I started going out and doing some local barbecue competitions. And no offense to the area. Look at me. No offense to the area. Okay, but like,
where was it? Where was it?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. So you in North Carolina?
It's like, well, listen. Here, the thing is this: you a Yankee, and more important than that, you was a damn Yankee. Okay.
Damn Yankee. Okay.
And the thing is, like, this is now we're doing a barbecue, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm thinking about doing like maybe I'll do a pineapple mustard curry, and she said, that's the problem. See, this is North Carolina. More importantly, this is Eastern North Carolina. We based. This is vinegar based. Yeah. We're not like them heathens out in Western North Carolina, and those people in South Carolina that use mustard. Okay, This is so basically after them telling me there's no way you're gonna win, they go, you're gonna. So but I was competing a lot locally, and it was like ridiculous. They had like no concept of flavor or whatever it is. So I get to this pig picking. I'm the judge, and I'll never forget this. The first guy, I'm like, so what's your secret? He's like, all right, ready for this? I'm using salt, black pepper, red pepper, vinegar, and ready for this? Brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the standard. And the next guy, you use. He's like, I'm using salt, black pepper, red pepper, vinegar, and ready for molasses.
Molasses.
And the third guy, I was like, what do you do? He's like,
Brown sugar.
salt, black pepper, red pepper, vinegar. Ready for this? I use a mixture of molasses and brown sugar. And I'm like, so all of your barbecue is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they all do the same thing. I was like, so, and as long as you both have the same weight pig, throw it in the barbecue at the same time, there's no variation. There's no deviation from it. And don't get me wrong, it was good. It's good. But I'm like, step outside of the box, do something different. So
bring some special flavors, some flavors that
or do something, but they don't, So anyway, so I wound up winning some competitions. I got noticed by the Food Network. I guess the judges called up the Food Network and told them.
So this was when? Tell me about that.
2005, 2006.
2005, 2006 Food Network. Okay.
Yeah, and
the prime of its time.
Right. And eventually they tricked me into the Throwdown with Bobby Flay. They said they wanted to film a day in the life of Captain D.
What show was?
Palm the Desert.
Okay.
This was Throwdown with Bobby Flay, season 1, episode 5.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Steak. So I go out there, and then Bobby Flay shows up, and I was like, it's very funny because on the camera you see I look like I'm happy, but I was having a fight with the infantry who kept saying they were going to take all my vehicles away from me because I don't deserve them, and I'm like, I don't work for you. You can say whatever you want. And then the next thing I see one of my Humvees coming back, and I'm like, and I'm there like smiling because I'm trying not to look angry on camera because I thought the infantry guy stole one of my vehicles, the lieutenant colonel, and I was just a captain at the time. And I was just like, this son of a, I'm like,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Bobby Flay pops out of my vehicle. And I was like, get out of here. Like, and it was like the greatest day in my life to go up against him, And it's true.
So what'd you cook?
Oh, we did 3 things, but you only see us on camera doing one. We did steak.
Okay. What cut of steak?
We New York strip.
New York strip,
and,
okay.
I used my recipes online. It was something that I came up, when I was in North Carolina, for those sort of competitions. More of an Asian type base, like teriyaki, garlic.
Against Mr. Crispy Rice, Bobby Flay.
Yeah. He did a dry rub because he's a Southwestern guy who has a huge inspiration for me who's inspired me for most of my barbecue. I love dry rubs. It's very rare that you see me use marinades anymore. It's always dry rub, and I got that from him. I'll give him. Thank you for the inspiration on that.
Okay.
But we also did a pork tenderloin, and ours were too similar. Like he's Southwest, so he used cilantro. I'm half Italian. I used parsley. He used lime. I used lemon. He used horseradish. I used mustard. So it was like there was so much that was like it was just too similar. We, it was like wow, they taste. Kind of like the East Coast guy made his version, and the West Coast guy made it. We pushed that to the side. And I can't remember the third dish you made. It's been forever, but we settled with the we were going to compete against steak, and I won. And I'll be honest, I thought they let me win because I was a Marine. And then one of my Marines, Big Head, that was his call sign.
Big Head. You didn't just have a big head.
Yeah. No. He actually has his skull is huge. So Big Head.
Hence the Marine Corps naming situation.
Exactly.
You must dance well, and the other guy must have a big head.
Yeah, pretty much. And I just love old school disco music.
Yeah.
So Big Head is like, sir, did you try it? I'm like, nah. And he's like, no, because he can read my mind, probably because of his big head. Right. And he was like, you need to try it. So I took a bite, and I'm like, oh my God, I really did win. And that's when I was like, because again, I really thought they let me win. I really did. And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that I really won on merit on that one. And then after that, I got offered like a lot of shows. They wanted me to be, that was the #1 episode on the #1 show on the Food Network at the time.
Wow, that's a good
And I got offered my own show, prime time, quite a few times, but the timing was always bad. It was like, I'm about to get promoted. I'm about to go to Iraq. I just about to go to Afghanistan. And, you would see people like, oh, you're going to get out. And stuff like, no, I've been training these guys. What do you think I'm going to just leave these guys? What kind of, excuse my French, what kind of douchebag would I be to leave my guys? And I mean, imagine if I did do that. Imagine if guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to become a freaking a television star. Screw you guys, like cartoons. Screw you guys. I'm going to be a TV star,
Yeah. No.
I would never have had a drop of respect.
No, absolutely not. The Marine Corps guy, wouldn't
seriously, I couldn't do that to myself. I couldn't do that to them.
Right.
And
of course
I just, but I'm in a few cookbooks now. I've been on obviously a ton of podcasts. I've been on TV a few times.
Yeah, your news section, your media section is pretty intense there, guy. I looked at you're hitting the right coverages, and I mean, let alone the personality. You got a great personality for
which is
media,
Marine Corps.
which is Marine Corps. But hey, man, let me ask you about actually going to school for cooking. I mean, I said, I'm self-taught with the exception of my wife and I have been spending 14 years on going to different cooking schools and classes and traveling for food. So
Right.
so it's more like 18 years now, but whatever. Tell me about Johnson and Wales, man.
All right, so to step into that, first of all, I was raised by my mom, and my mom couldn't cook a day in her life.
That's usually how people get into it, because
She is. I'll tell you, if my mom sent me to bed without dinner, it was a blessing. And then I would see my dad on the weekends. My dad's Italian, and I'm like, oh my god, just like what. And then I grew up in a neighborhood which have Israeli food here. Then my other neighbor was this. We always spent the holidays with one another.
Welcome to Long Island.
They came to my house for my holidays. I went to their house for their holidays. Right. So I grew up around this just ethnic mix of food. And I always wanted to go to culinary school. It was my dream. I've been cooking since and people would say, you're a great chef. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just a guy who cooks very well. Just because you shoot very well doesn't make you a sniper.
Right.
Right? There you go.
Sure.
I'm just a guy who cooks very well. I am not a chef. But I catered. Don't get me wrong. I catered many events. I put a little bit of extra money in my pocket when I was in college and stuff like that. So then fast forward, I just retired from the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. I was about to retire, and the colonel was, D, what are your plans for retirement? I was doing something exciting, something this, and I looked at him and he said, "What's that?" I'm like, "I want to go to culinary school." And he got mad at me, like, "You have a top secret clearance and this and that, and you're going to going to become a chef." I'm like, not all of us have delusions of grandeur, and not all of us are scared to step outside the box and try something new.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to go on to be GS employees, make $150,000 a year. Good for them. Nothing wrong. That's fine. The money is great. How can you turn that down? But I'm done. Nothing against the military. Nothing against being a GS. I just didn't really. I wanted different. So I went to culinary school with a buddy in the Marine Corps. We went there, just checking it out, and turns out that was the first day of class. So they got us in there. We were in the after, literally like
wow,
2 hours later.
We show up and they got you in class first day. That's
yeah, and I loved it. I was older. I was older than all the. I was the eldest person in the old program, and I look really young. I see this is all new. I'm growing it. I've never had a beard before, so
this is me losing my color because I color it normally.
Okay, yeah, this is me. Like, I just had it, so I look pretty young for my age, and I was out there and. All I could tell you, I had the greatest experience. I could not wait. Every morning, I could not wait to get to class.
So, I was there. So tell me, where is Johnson Wales at? Where is Johnson Wales at?
Johnson
Wales
is multi-campus. So they have two campuses in Rhode Island. They have one in Colorado. I think it's Colorado Springs. I'm not quite sure where in Colorado. They have one in North Carolina, South Carolina. One of them closed, and they had one here in North Miami closed because of COVID.
Right. So where did you go to school?
I went to North Miami Beach.
North Miami Beach. Okay. I looked at CIA, which is not the the bureau.
Yeah. Which is why.
No. The Culinary Institute of America. They're here in New Hyde Park.
Yep.
Right. And my wife and I have attended many a class at ICE, which is not exactly a good thing right now, but ICE is in New York City. Right. We also so that's the culinary. The International Culinary Education, I think that's what it's called. Right. I forget who actually attended. There's a bunch of celebrity culinary people that went there. And we also did something called the Ultimate Culinary Experience in New York City. Over like a 4-year period. We return every 2 years and cook with a bunch of celebrity chefs like Alex Winicelli and and a few other people. Well, if
you ever meet Bobby Flay, let him know I said hello.
I haven't met Bobby, but we have met. We met Carla Hall many times. We met Alex. We met one from Del Posto. She has a son with red hair. I forget his name, but he got in trouble, so we won't even go there. Yeah, and Del Posto's closed. So. Just a bunch of Michael Lamonaco, a few other, bunch of the Daniels and the Daves and the Toms, right? All in there. But like I said, we've been traveling for food for a long time because we really like good food in general.
there's a funny thing about the whole cooking experience for me. Remember, I'm half Italian, and when I tell you I'm half Italian, my father's off the boat.
Okay.
Okay, my father learned how. My father speaks. My father is like a redneck from Italy. He's from Calabria. He learned how to speak Italian in Brooklyn because he spoke Calabrese.
Okay.
You know.
So tell me where that is on the Italy boot.
Southern Italy. My dad is from the most southern. If this is Italy, he's from here.
Okay, so he's
like
the
anything
bottom,
further
the
south
bottom
is
of the
water.
boot. Bottom of the boot. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
and there's nothing there but, I mean, it's vacation resort, and outside of that, it's what else is there? Figs, oranges, olive oil, honey, and there's really nothing else there.
So that's
beautiful.
Right inside. That's on the peninsula. Looking at the peninsula of Italy, you're talking about the insole of the boot. So not that close.
The planter.
To, but not that
it's
far.
like the planter
planting
area.
region.
Yeah, the planter, like of your foot. I think it's right by the
yes.
Yeah, this like the sole.
The sole, right.
So he's from the sole, and I there to visit my family, and my buddy was like kind of like the acting ambassador to Italy. That's the best way to describe him. And we went down there and I visited, and it's beautiful. It's everything I ever heard of. But my dad, he doesn't like to speak Italian because they're going to say I sound okay. I understand. It's the equivalent of speaking like, how you doing? Like I got it. Even if you're the smartest person in the world, they're going to think you're uneducated.
Right.
So
linearly around the globe, that's pretty much regionally. It's similar to South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yeah, as you get closer towards the equator, as you get closer to the equator, you become more agrarian because you can grow things more years around. As you get further away from the equator, you become more industrial. And to be industrial, you have to have an education usually. So that's why it's like the smart people, whatever. And also, as you get closer towards the equator, the darker usually. You're by the sun. So you have dark-skinned Chinese and light-skinned Chinese, dark-skinned Indians and light-skinned Indians, and stuff like that. So, and the food is different. As we know, I'm going to go really quick with Indian cuisine. As you go away from the equator, they're going to use things like a coconut milk. As you go towards the equator, they're going to use heavy cream or butter. Makes a lot of sense. Same dish,
in Italy, they would use more milk in the north, right? Because that's where they can have
heavy creams, and my dad won't touch that stuff.
Right. So
I'm making my
now.
carbonara.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get to, the carbonara. So now we're on the carbonara, my friend. You have a carbonara recipe that we talked about offline. Tell me about this recipe in the carbonara and why it's the way how you make it.
Okay, so my experience with carbonara was I used to work with a bunch of Sicilian businessmen. I used to lay down tile with them, and eventually they would graduate out of that to do other things.
Okay, so wait. Let's slow down. So carbonara itself, the recipe is a Roman dish.
It's an American dish that became Italian. Yeah.
That's not what I heard.
World War II. So the ingredients were brought there from World War II and the American GIs. Okay. And I guess the American, they were like, oh, they have eggs, they have bacon, bacon and eggs, and that's how they would start making it. So it's an Italian dish, but influenced by the ingredients from America, like Filipinos with Spam or peanut butter or Quick. It's their country's dish, but it was because of the Americans where it came about. Now, the first people to teach me how to make, or I saw making a carbonara were Sicilians. Okay. And the Italians will say that's not a carbonara. They're not Roman. Those guys are, they get very. So they use orecchietti, the pasta that chip. To me, they chip like eyeballs. Yeah. That's what they used to use, and they would use peas and they use eggs. But remember, they scramble the eggs. About 3 eggs per pound. Peas, pancetta, Parmesan, and they would have the pasta, and of course and black pepper, but not a lot, very, very little. And you crack your raw eggs inside, and then the heat of the pasta cooks the eggs. So you get a little bit of scrambly eggs, that are on the pasta. I was never a fan. Mm-hmm. Later, as I started seeing it evolve, that was the 1980s, I guess it was. As I started seeing it was a pancetta. Pancetta was the standard. Pancetta is the standard. I always use guanciale or bacon because I like that smoky flavor. And that was my standard. If you look up any recipe now, guanciale is now the standard. Okay? Mm-hmm. Everyone forgets about pancetta. Number 2, the other thing that's changed that I've seen over the years is Parmesan has become pecorino. That's the new standard. Right. Years ago, it was always Parmesan cheese. Mm-hmm. The amount of black pepper has increased significantly, so it's like a
carbonara. Carbon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the carbone is the bacon, what do you call that? The carbon, the smell, like the smoke from
Okay,
the
I thought it was literally they call it carbonara because of the look of the pepper in the black pepper.
You could be right. Yeah.
Okay.
It was because of the smokiness. You could be right. I'm just telling you
what you
that
understood.
Yeah, exactly. It had to do because is the bacon and it has the smell of smoke, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. And so, but as you know, cacio e pepe has a lot of pepper on it.
Pepper in it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Whereas carbonara had very little, but now it's a tremendous amount, which I like.
Right.
And then the pasta shape. Wars, I think, have been fought in Italy over the proper shape of macaroni that you're supposed to use in the actual dish. I was talking to one of the, I can't remember his name right now, a rather famous chef online. He's Italian. And I said, he was talking about what pasta to use. I use penne rigate. And he's like, why? I'm like, because of the fluting. Okay. Right. The fluting allows the quote unquote cream, it's not cream, quote unquote cream, to stick better to the pasta. He's like, wow, that's actually kind of smart. Yeah. So my recipe is penne rigate, 3 eggs, not 3 egg yolks, 3 eggs, because I do like that eggy stuff to stick to it.
Yeah.
Bacon, about half a slab of bacon, or the equivalent in guanciale. Okay. A lot of black pepper. Yes. And then I do something that's rather different. And this is where everyone gets mad at me. I say, hey, look, I'm not making pizza. I'm making Texas pizza. So I'm making my house.
Your house sauce.
My house carbonara. I add mushrooms and I add truffles, shaved truffles. The truffles are so overused. So either use a little bit of truffle oil, some shaved truffles. And that's one variation. The only other variation I do, I call it carbonara americana. And it's the same thing, but instead of the eggs being in the pasta, every serving I put a sunny side up egg on top. I will eat that over a carbonara any day. I'm telling you, take a carbonara, your favorite carbonara recipe. Oh, and I told you, I do use a lot of black pepper. I'm sorry.
Right, you said that. Yes.
Yeah, but one of the things, if next time you make a carbonara, don't put the eggs in. Just take a sunny side up egg, fry it, lay it on top at night, and when you break, you're like, oh my God, it's just bacon and eggs on pasta. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I love me a carbonara. So that sounds like a really good recipe. I must admit, I like I love carbonara, and it's so simple. It comes together too quick almost. By the time you
it's mastery and simplicity.
Right.
Not everything has to be. Everyone looks at Italian food. I don't have time to make all that fancy stuff or anything like that. I'm like, hey, it's pasta with olive oil and garlic.
Yeah. So you didn't mention water. Are you using water too? Is that what you're doing?
For what?
Water. You didn't mention water.
Oh no, I don't use the pasta water. I have when I've tried to make the new style because that's not the way it was originally. When I do it, I've done it where I've mixed my grated cheese of choice, and I'll put like a little bit of the pasta water. I'll mix it inside. Or what I do is I don't drain my pasta all the way, so I don't add pasta water because it gets caught in the tubes of the pasta, so it's already there. So there's fancify anything. That's great. Don't get me wrong; it's unbelievable. But to me, carbonara is one of the dishes that's truly like mastery and simplicity. You really don't need to do a lot to it. It's just, dude, bacon, eggs, pepper, Parmesan cheese. Come on, Yeah. And oh no, you have to use I hear this all the time. I use 3 egg yolks and 1 egg. I use 3 eggs and 1 additional egg yolk. Everyone's got their own little flavor for it.
Yeah, everyone's got a twist.
Everyone's got a twist, and it's like your style is gonna be completely different than mine.
Yeah,
but that is my favorite dish in the house.
Well, that like I said, sounds fantastic. Do you do anything special with your black pepper that you use in general?
I grind it myself. Nothing really. I have a mortar and a pestle. I have a bad arm right now, so I can't do it. But I grind it myself, and I've mixed that with the egg. I've mixed that with the pasta water and with the cheese. I make a paste out of it, and it's like, wow. And I go, but which way tasted better? They're like, it's not that it tastes better. It's just maybe the texture is different. And I'm like, see, that's there you go. But texture, as we know when we cook, is a huge thing. That's another reason why I love carbonara, because if you get your bacon or your pancetta or your guanciale crispy, it's all about the shape of it. You get that nice and crispy. I make mine little, like a julienne almost. Is how I like mine. I make mine nice and crispy, and the mushrooms are soft, the pasta's soft, and then the sauce sticks to it, and then you have a creamy, but and you have a saltiness, and then you're like, and there's smoke. It has everything. But I'm going to tell you the truth. If you put heavy cream in your carbonara, guess what?
I don't put heavy cream. Yeah.
I'm just saying, we know that's a sin, right?
Well, we know that it's not carbonara then.
Oh, no, to say exactly. But I'm going to tell you this. Call it something else. Yeah, it's amazing. If you put garlic, if you make a carbonara and you add garlic and heavy cream, it's unbelievable. But you can't call it a carbonara.
No, you can't call it more closer to an Alfredo if you're doing that.
Yeah, and it's like people are like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, and I've made it for my friends. They're like, well, but it's not a carbonara. I never said it was. I just wanted to prove a point.
So you call it carbonara Americana? Is that what you're calling it? Carbonara?
When I use the sunny side up egg.
When you use sunny side up egg. Okay.
Yes, that's mine.
It's yours. I understand.
Yep.
I understand. So the only thing that I think is different, we all would land on, no matter which way you go with the bacon, right? I personally try to use more yolk than everything else. I definitely use the water, and I pre-mix the cheese, the ground cheese. I've also toasted my black peppercorn. I always have to.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I much appreciate it. I totally forgot about that. Thank you.
That's why I was like, you do anything with the?
I told it, but that's really more when I make a cacio e pepe, and it's very rare that I do that. I usually prefer, if I start with the cacio e pepe, it always becomes a carbonara.
yeah. So I mean, we don't even in the house. We don't even have any pre-ground pepper. It's always toasted. And I always put it in the grinder. So
right.
It's the way it is. Generally in the house, that's how we do. Warm it up, get them nice and toasted, so you can smell it throughout the house.
Yeah, because that goes first, and then I pull it out, and then I put my bacon in the pan.
Yeah,
I use the same pan. And,
definitely use the same pans because it's already two pans.
I'm washing
to make the pasta.
Else,
It's already two. So ton of cheese, and then mix everything, and then you're going straight from the done pasta directly into the saucepan that's gonna miss it. But I add a lot of extra water. I don't use the pasta water because I found that I'm always adding too much salt to the pasta water, and it made it. One time I had overdone the salt. It was uneatable. So I was nope.
Yeah, and you have to realize the carbonara is getting its salt
from the bacon,
the pancetta, or the guanciale, or the bacon. Bacon is rather salty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need. Yeah, it's very salty.
Right.
So you don't need to add salt water or salt to that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. I don't want to hold you up here forever. We always out here doing our thing, and we could talk. It looks like we could talk forever. I want to hit you with a quick lightning round. So you said you already know where your parents come from, right? Hey, is that right? You didn't tell me where your mother came from. You know where your
my
father
mom's
came
Haitian.
From?
My mom was born in Haiti. Believe it or not, my ancestor was the one who defeated the French and kicked them out. He was the one who liberated Haiti, making it the first slave colony in history to win up against the people who had enslaved them.
You got a name for me on that one?
Yeah, his name is Jean-Jacques Dessalines Cincinnatus Leconte.
Oh, that's I like having multiple names like that.
Yeah, and his great grandson was the president. He was Cincinnatus Leconte. So that's my great. He's 3 generations behind. 3 generations behind me, I think.
Cool. Early life, music, movies, or books. What did you enjoy as a kid?
Movies. The most inspirational movie I've ever seen was the Transformers 1986, showing the rise of Rodimus to become Rodimus Prime under the tutelage of Cup. Believe it or not, the music, the sound. Go ahead.
No, the music. Go ahead.
The soundtrack is amazing, and my Marine Corps career is basically mimicked that movie with having that ornery gunnery sergeant like you're doing it wrong, and you're just trying to become a leader, and it just I love the movie. I make all my Marine Corps officers watch that movie.
Okay. Were you involved in any extra activities? I know you were in martial arts. What else were you involved in, my friend?
Track and field, every biology, every medical class that was out there. I was a big brother for a while. Probably the most amazing thing I've done, most beautiful thing. I'd rather not. If I talk about it, I wind up crying. But it was just being a big brother to a kid who who was just in the worst scenario that a kid could be in, man. And I wish I could maintain contact with him. He was my big brother until I joined the Marine Corps, and I lost his address, and I really wish I knew what happened to him. I don't even remember his name right now.
Okay. Hey, I wish if anybody knows of this gentleman, please hit
Yeah.
him up. He's looking for you. He's looking
And then
for you.
I was also in band. I was in band and jazz band, played the trombone. You name it. I
Trombone.
just love it. I got a tattoo of it right over here. Yeah, it was just love it. You have to do everything, you know.
Any schools that you attended after high school, which we obviously know you went to college. You named a bunch of different schools.
I started off with NYU, couldn't afford to finish there, so I transferred to Mercy. From Mercy, then I went to Central Michigan University, and I got my a degree in biology, pre-med. I was actually like pre-med, pre-nursing. I made sure I took all the classes so I could graduate pre-something. Joined the Marine Corps, got my master's degree in education from Central Michigan, adult education. Then after I retired, I went to Johnson Wales for culinary school. I got my associates there, and then I went to University of Miami for my my doctorate.
So you know what's really funny about talking with you, man. You knock out the questions before I even ask them. You know, my next question was, did you serve in the military? Where'd you go to school at? I'm like, what? When you was when you were a kid, what was your favorite holiday and why?
Halloween. Even as an adult, man, it's such a great holiday. If you get to like just even think about it, it's a holiday that from whether you're a child to you can be 90 years old, you can still get dressed up, have a party. You can make it a toga party, a trick-or-treating party. The most hilarious times in my life would be in a bar and Halloween in my costume. Without a doubt.
Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. You can ask my wife. I go Costco crazy to make sure the kids. I think about when I was a kid and I went to, I live in one of these PUDs, that planned urban development.
Yeah.
So when the kids come, we normally get knocked out crazy with like tons of kids for up until 8 o'clock. Then we kick them out.
Yeah.
But I love seeing the expressions on their face, and I get dressed up, and as a nerd, I don't mind being out there, and it's another way we relate. Have you ever changed your mind over the years about some subject?
I'm sure I have. I can't think.
I'm sure you have too. You seem to have navigated a few things.
Well, I mean, there's some things I never really changed my goals. There were things I always wanted to do. It's just the timing. I can't do this now. I can't do that, but I'm gonna do it. But changing like my views as a child about certain things, like, here's one, flan. I hated flan. The texture was like snot. Ugh! I don't know how people could eat that. It's disgusting. And I dated a Filipino girl, and they make theirs with because I hate evaporated milk. I hate condensed milk. I hate all that West Indian, Hispanic, any. This is that I cannot stand. They always, it's good. No, I hate it. Don't try to give. They use coconut milk, and I had flan, and I was like, oh my god, this is unbelievable. I got used to the texture because it tasted so good. So that was the other one is liver. I love pate. I hate liver. It tastes like crayons.
Yeah,
I hated it.
It's that iron.
I said if I can make liver so good that I'll enjoy it, I am a master ninja with samurai chef. And I make it good, but I still can't take it. And I had liver the other day at this Japanese restaurant, and I was like, look, liver is tolerable. Next time I go there, I'm not getting sushi. I'm getting their liver. Remember, pate is different. Yes. It tastes good. I mean, killer pate. I love foie as well, but they made liver probably with a very, very high heat and a wok. Because it's
searing.
Japanese. In Miami, everything's usually mixed. The liver there was crunchy on the outside. I was like, oh God. So changed my mind about liver. There you go.
Okay. All right. So you haven't. I've already heard a bunch of dreams that you've had. What dream have you let go of that you really would like to, just
bass guitar.
Just put that to bed.
Let's go with the stereotype. I want to play bass guitar. I've always wanted to play bass guitar.
All right.
I had an injury, probably why I'm not a chef right now. I have a weakness in my arm because of nerve compression from all the IEDs and the packs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. During COVID, man, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm going to learn how to play bass guitar. I'm going to sit home and I just couldn't wait. Like Michael Jackson's Shake a Body Down to the Ground. Oh, sorry, the Jacksons. Yes. That bass line, it's always in my head. And because my hand cramps up every now and then, if I'm at a certain angle, it's just like,
and you have to be at all different types of angles.
yeah,
That's Jermaine. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Jermaine.
yeah, exactly. You know, so that's one thing. And I'm like, listen, though, I have a lot.
Oh, what's that Tito? Was it Jermaine or Tito?
I can't remember. Look, it was Michael, and everyone else is along for the ride.
Yeah. although my cousins
dance,
were big imitators. They were like.
If you see them dancing, when they're dancing to Shake a Body Down to the Ground, and when they spin once. He spins like 3 times and lands on the same beat. The guy is legend. He goes into the Muses Hall of Fame. The Muses look at him down to Michael Jackson for his dancing ability. And he's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we just
recently lost that was
Miss
one thing
Jackson
I had to let go. Yeah, I had to let that one go though because of the hand injury. But you know, I'll tell you on a personal note. When you're my age, if you don't have a bad shoulder, bad back, bad knees, it means you really haven't done anything with your life.
You really say you don't have any memories. That's probably why you don't got.
So I'm proud of. I don't know if you heard that, the clicks in my shoulder.
I heard that click. I thought it was a knee.
Yeah, I'm proud of the clicks in my shoulder, the scar body, you know, all the other stuff. It's it's a story, and it's like, again, look how great the story is. Why did you give up your dream? I don't know, because I've been in a few explosions and I'm a half an inch shorter, and So it's a good reason.
That's a great reason. One last question here is: what makes you feel the most alive, my friend? Most alive.
Most alive.
Yes, Eric.
Breathing.
Thinking about all the stuff we talked about today. We covered. We got some booze here. What makes you feel the most alive?
I will tell you this. I had a non-traditional relationship with my Marines. As a person of my rank, I should not have been so close. To my Marines. I was told I had too much in common with my Marines because we came from a similar demographic. I didn't go to the academy. My father wasn't an officer. I had no military background.
No legacy.
So to have my Marines speak about me, especially on Facebook or online, I got my Facebook so I can keep in touch with my Marines. The thing that really gets me is when they're like, sir, like, thank you so much. And they like, sir, you were always there for me. Sir, you were this. I didn't know what the word, and if I say anymore, I sound like I'm being braggadocious. You know what I mean? One of my Marines was like, you're the GOAT. Sir, you were the GOAT. I was a lieutenant. He said, like, first lieutenant to me, he was the GOAT. And I'm like, what the hell does GOAT mean? I had no clue. And I was like, oh, greatest of all time. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm like, all right, I was a badass. And then over the years, you get more and more, and it lets me know that what I did was right.
That's because important. Took care of your people.
And when you have a Marine that you kicked out of the Marine Corps, or you have a you were with or you served, and they're like, sir, it was an honor to serve. Sir, it was a pleasure. Sir, I'd go back with you. Hey, I'm 50 years old. I would go back with you in a heartbeat. And I'm like, oh, shut up, you moron. You're drinking again, aren't you, asshole? Click. That is really what makes me feel alive. Because it's like, like in the Transformers movie, the most greatest part of the movie is when God becomes Prime. And he's running and everything is going to crap. Right? Everything's blowing up, and what do we do? And no one knows what to do. And then Hot Rod comes out, and he's now Rodimus Prime, and he's just like, Autobots, transform and roll out. And Cup behind him goes, I knew you had potential. That was me and my gun. He's like, we're hearing my Marine go, that's my lieutenant, that's my captain, that's my boss. Yes, when they say that,
straight, ready to
they're
go.
showing their ownership and their proud ownership of me. They owned me. I was theirs, they were mine. So to hear that, man, it's like, excuse my French, I effing did it right.
Most definitely. So what I don't know whether they call you sir or Disco Six or what, but let me just bring it home here. What is it that you have done that you can do more in your life that will bring it home before you lay your head down to go to sleep? What
this is something that we were talking about before.
Yes.
I want to adopt. I'll tell you this. It's completely what you never expect. I want to adopt a kid. And the reason I have 3 of my own, I love them more than anything.
Great family life. That's good.
Yep. After being a big brother and having a lot of friends in the Marine Corps or peers who were adopted, who have amounted to so much when they came from so little, or from that. Whether it was most of my adopted friends came from good families. They were wealthy families who adopted them. But I want to give a kid a chance. There are so many kids out there that
need help.
Yeah, or just guidance, man. Even if I didn't adopt, just to go out there and be a big brother again, or to foster a kid, or just to be like that. I believe it's every responsibility to pass on guidance and direction to that next generation. He doesn't have to be yours. Just go up to that kid. It's like, hey, if you do this, you can get out of here. If you do this, you go on the right path. You grew up in a great neighborhood, fine. You're wealthy and stuff like that. Don't waste it. Go to school. Stop smoking weed all day long. But I mean, don't waste it. And you see that even when the kid comes from a great neighborhood, you can say, I don't have to do it. I'm just going to sit back and, no. Your father's busy working, making the millions to
build
support
something. Build something.
Do something. Get out there and look at your body, your physique. Why don't you run or lift weights? Do kung fu. You're smart. Get off your ass. Stop playing video games and design a video game.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily need to adopt a kid, but I want to know that I got a kid on the right path. I'm pretty sure I did with the young kid when I was a big brother, but I was a little bit more than that. And it's like, it's not so much like, oh my God, alcohol. You're into alcohol. You're gonna be like, no, forget about the product. The fact that I'm doing something. Okay, look at if I was selling soda or I have my own flashlight company, something. It just shows that I got off my ass and I didn't sit home and do nothing all day long.
Right,
it's
you got off your ass and you did something. So what is it that you're coming up in the future besides this? Making more of this so people can enjoy the floor.
Fior.
What else? Fior.
Yeah.
What more are you doing in the future? Tell me some.
We're looking at. We're available in the New York, New Jersey area, Connecticut, Connecticut, Maryland, DC, Georgia, South Carolina. We will be available soon in California, Florida. We're also available in Texas and online. You can find us at www.fiorscotch.com. That's Fox, India, Oscar, Romeo, Scotch.com. But we're looking at maybe next, depends, how things are going. We're going to be looking at finishing. We're going to be doing Scotch. We're going to send it down to the Caribbean, and it's going to. Well, we're going to take casks from the Caribbean. They're already in Scotland. We're going to finish our Scotch in the Caribbean cask, so we'll have our own Caribbean cask blend, if you will. But it's going to be rum from the Dominican Republic. We chose it because I worked with the Dominican Naval Infantry. I created the Dominican Naval Infantry. I was the one who sat down.
It's going to be another blend
like
this one.
Yes, cool. I've already come up with the bottle, the colors, the design of the bottle, and everything.
And we should expect that when am
I don't know.
Getting some?
I mean, it all depends on things. It's just the I don't want to overstep. I don't want to go outside of my reach. So it was we're looking at. I'm like, there's no. Yeah, there is no time frame that I need to stick to. I would like to do it in the next year, and release it. But you don't want to go beyond what your capabilities are right now. We're still growing. I know we're getting a really good fan base. The biggest problem that we have right now is fan. Yeah, it's it's the first and only veteran-owned Scotch. It's the first and only Black-owned Scotch. I've had 9 awards now. I think it is. Spectacular. For itself and just getting out there. I got people who want to buy it. They just can't get it because there's people
who have bought it. People.
Yeah. There we go.
Send me this. I bought this.
Yeah, thank you very much. It means a lot. In fact, I'm going to show you something really quick. If you go to my website, you have the option to engrave a bottle. I got my University of Miami. It was a gift.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're doing engraving.
We're doing engraved bottles, and also. Sure, we already had our 250th birthday for the Marine Corps, Army, and Navy. Right. Sorry, Air Force, you're too young. We haven't been flying for 250 years. But I did get an engraved bottle for a buddy who wanted to get some aim high for his buddies on there.
Oh, at least it wasn't Space Force, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a week old, So we did our 250th. We're going to also be doing engraved bottle specials. for July, 250th Independence Day or Day of Independence.
Great.
I haven't come up with a thing yet, but I'm probably going to release, like, maybe if we use your logo or your design, we'll send you like a couple of bottles for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's coming up definitely.
All right. Well, sir, I don't want to, like I said, take too much more of your time. We've already been into this almost an hour and 19 or so. Right. I really would like to thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to me about yourself and about your history and about your product, which is absolutely spectacular. It's great to see people like you doing so much good in the community and thinking about the future by adopting and helping other people. But in general, it's been a pleasure to talk with you.
Of course it is, because I'm amazing. And and to quote, and you remember, like, to quote Buckaroo Banzai, remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
There you are. All righty. Well, thanks a lot, and let's roll it.
There we go.